Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back with the FIA manufacturers highlights at Nordschleife in the Group 3 cars. So yeah, if you do enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you do not miss any future videos, and let me know in the comment section how your race went, and yeah, any stuff that went on in your race. I want to hear it in the comment section. So yeah, let's get on with this anyway. So this was top split. The last lot of the day, some very fast drivers still in this race. We had had some pretty good racing throughout the day. I think one race out of the four before this, we had a little error, but the other three went pretty well. And considering this was my first race in over 2 years in Group 3 cars at this track, we'd done it once before. I tend to avoid this track like most people will know on this channel. But we did do the Group 4 race in daily race just previously. I think it was just a few weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. And this race, it was almost like that daily race was a warm-up for this, because they were pretty similar settings. Everything was almost identical, and yeah, I was looking forward to this. And I have to say again, I've really enjoyed driving the Nordschleife in GT3 cars, so I think I'm converted. I am now a fan of the Nordschleife, and we will be doing the majority of future races in FIA at Nordschleife, I think, because I'm enjoying it and I find it quite entertaining. So this race was a fuel saver, just like the daily race we had a while ago. This one though has one extra lap, so around 24 minutes or something like that in total distance. We're in the GT3 cars, obviously. I'm driving the Porsche. We're going to work our way down into turn 1. So straight away, hard tyres. Remember, with that warm-up, the tyres get really cold. So everyone giving it a little weave just to try and build some temperature in them front tyres, just so that when you get into the braking zone, you've got a car that will actually slow down. And straight away, all the cars through there, very clean, very tidy. No one really doing anything silly. Quite nice driving. Everyone taking it quite easy. And yeah, keeping that fuel saving going, obviously, because we need to make sure that we've got the fuel on the final lap. Now, this was one strategy that I was starting to get a little bit better. I think in this race, we did quite a good, the aim was to do quite a good job with the fuel and try and keep it for the final lap, because that is when you're going to need it. For that final bit of straight, you just got to basically hold on and sit in slipstream until that final bit of straight when you can really push on. So here through here, just short shifting a bit in mixture 1 at the moment, sometimes going to mixture 2 and sometimes higher, just trying to keep that fuel in a nice zone. You can see the short shifting going on, staying in 4th gear through there, just sitting behind Matty in front of us, who I think is in the Lexus just up there. And we can see a very close group of 15 cars. The field spread, obviously, at the start of the race is quite close because of slipstream and the fuel saving. Because everyone's fuel saving, a lot of the cars are bunching up. So working our way now down into the straight line here, the fast section here of the proper circuit, the GP circuit that goes into the chicane, which is slightly older chicane. It's the GT layout of the track that you go onto the Nordschleife. So through here, down into 3rd gear, trying to take it nice and early on the apex, trying to almost just casually just coast through them. We have a car that randomly goes off, and unfortunately we can't check the replay because there is a big reason for that, which we'll get to at the end of the video. I did really want to watch the replay for that, but I don't know what quite happened there. Maybe the people involved with that incident could let us know in the comment section, because I'm not too sure. I just seen him spinning off, and it just seemed like a really weird place to crash. Maybe he got his tyre on the curb on the acceleration as you come out the corner, bit too much power and just spun it. That is a possibility. Now we're working our way on the downhill section here. This is where we just got to do a lot of fuel saving. There's not really much point in trying to get all over a car in front of you. I just thought, you know what, we'll just sit behind the cars in front here. You can't really overtake. The track's so narrow. It's all about just keeping it on the track and trying not to make any mistakes. And this track will absolutely kill you if you make a little mistake. It's a track that it takes no prisoners. It really doesn't. You just cannot. You just can't take too many risks, especially with this race being a fuel saver. It wasn't really worth risking too much. So again, into mixture 2 there, saving the fuel as we follow down this downhill section again. The downhill sections were really good for saving fuel. You could really get the short shifting going, and using mixture 2 every now and again. And then through this corner here again, I have to say, I'm really enjoying this track. I never thought I'd hear myself say that, but yeah, once I'm starting to learn it, the more I'm driving it now, especially after that daily race, the more I'm driving it with this FIA race, I know where I'm going around the track now, so I don't have any issues with knowing where I'm going and stuff like that. I know exact corners that are coming up, and I know how fast to take them and stuff. But this track can easily catch you out because it's so narrow. there's a small margin for error. A lot of tracks you come to, you can take, you miss a corner here and it won't penalise you too much. As we skip a little bit further on in the lap, and you can see we're still all pretty much in the same positions, as Matty runs a little bit wide there, but just about manages to save that before that tricky left-hand corner, before we work our way onto the back straight. Now again, this is all about slipstream, so just trying to make sure we stay in the toe to Matty in front of us. And keeping the short shifting going into fourth gear very early there. This corner I find very tricky because the car just wants to understeer all the way off to the left, but we're still in the slip and we're just working our way down the straight now, and hopefully we don't get overtaken by the car behind. So yeah, early upshift into sixth gear there, not revving it out maximum in fifth, and we can see Sparks on the left hand side in the Ferrari has clearly had a penalty for something. Now I don't know whether that's it looks to me like a severe penalty, so I'm wondering if that could have something to do with the car that spun off. So Sparks, if you're in the chat, let people know in the comments what happened there. It'd be interesting to know. I don't know what's gone on. Maybe he was involved with it, maybe he had nothing to do with it, who knows. But Matty there having a little look on the TX3 driver in front of him, nearly losing control of his car. Well held by Matty there as we work our way through the final sector and onto the start finishing line to complete lap 1 of 3 in this FIA manufacturers race. So we're up to P8, obviously gaining the position from overtaking Sparks there, and now we're going to start lap 2 and see if we can make any further progress in this race. So again, into the braking zone, we're just going to lift off a little bit early. See how I lift and coast into that braking zone, just saving a bit of fuel while we do that, and just making sure we hit that apex nicely, all smoothly through here again, hitting that apex absolutely spot on there. Got a really nice exit. We're right behind Matty now. Actually started accelerating out of it because I thought if he fuel saved, he might be able to go up the inside, but yeah, Matty also accelerated quite aggressively out that corner. So fuel was looking very good here. You can see 2.2 laps of fuel left. I've only got 2 laps to go, so fuel was actually looking pretty good. We've done quite good fuel saving on that first lap, so the potential is to push. I've got the potential to either push on this lap or obviously lap 3. So at the moment there's no real point in driving overly aggressive on lap 2 because yeah, we're not really going to get anywhere driving aggressively here because it's pretty much impossible to overtake when you've got a line of cars all getting the slipstream. And all that's going to happen is if you drive over aggressive and don't make up any ground in terms of overtakes, you're just burning fuel that is just wasted. So yeah, sitting behind Matty now, we've got the TX3 driver who I'm not sure if he's just in the slipstream to P5. I think he's actually just slightly out of the slipstream, but yeah, he's driving reasonably well. He's got reasonable pace, so it's actually okay for myself sitting in P8 here. We can see the gap behind. We nearly dropped the Porsche behind us in the slipstream. However, they braked really early for here. You can see very early on the brakes, and that has given the Porsche behind us a chance just to get right back up in that slip. And yeah, no worries for the driver behind us now, because he was very close to losing the slip there, but they took it very easy in front of us through the chicane. I think actually it was the TX3 driver that might have made a slight error through there, which might have then meant Matty had to back out a bit through the corner. But working our way downhill section again, fast forward in this section because again, you just can't physically overtake through here. This is just single line racing. Even when we come out of this corner here, it's still difficult to get an overtake done here because everyone's got the slipstream. You'll see the guy behind us now in the Porsche backs out, lifts and coasts. That's what he's doing. That's why he's dropped back a bit there. He's just letting the car coast through that corner. And yeah, it doesn't really lose you much because by the time you get to the braking zone, you just brake a little bit later and you're back in the slipstream. So that is something that, you know, we do that a lot of the time, and I was doing it in the Group 4 a lot of the time, but I wanted to be close just in case any of these made a mistake so I could try and, you know, take advantage from anyone's mistakes. But looking up ahead, we've got a group of cars not too far ahead. I think P3 and 4. They're not too far ahead. You can see them there. We've actually got, P4 and 5 are very close in front of us. So there's opportunities in this race, and we can actually see P3 not too far ahead of that also. I think in the Toyota Zavizic, I think it is there in the Toyota, not too far in the distance. So if we keep with the fuel saving, who knows what could happen, if we get in the position to push on the final lap. So working our way through here again, just fuel saving really at the moment. We're not trying to overdrive it, we're just trying to keep it smooth and try not to make any errors on this lap 2. You can see Matty having a look up the inside there. He's getting quite kind of aggressive. It looks like he wants to think about going for an overtake. I think his view was that maybe the TX3 driver's holding us up a bit here. We've done good fuel saving. I was thinking it at the time that I think we need to get ourselves past the TX3 driver, because if we want to have a chance of getting a top 5 out of this, I felt like we needed to really get on and push on. So through here, you're going to see coming out of there, I decided to go for a bit of a push here now. So we're getting the slipstream, and I carry on revving out in 5th gear. So we've got a really nice slipstream behind Matty. I go down the right hand side. The TX3 driver blocks up, but then tries to block me coming through the inside. And Matty gained from that, and then I obviously suffer, and there's nowhere for me to go there. So that was a bit frustrating because I just wasted a bit of fuel. But yeah, you can see what I was trying to do. Unfortunately for me, the TX3 driver decided to block me in, not Matty, and then Matty could go past him on the left-hand side. So yeah, that didn't work out too great. But through here, we're just trying to stay nice and smooth through here. Again, now the TX3 driver is going to have to slipstream to Matty, but Matty's obviously done quite a lot of fuel saving, so over a lap and a half of fuel saving, so he can push on now and see if he can catch up to P4. But looking through there, he nearly loses it, he nearly drops it. Again, them corners are so tricky because of the banked corner. They're very easy to make mistakes. As we skip on a little bit again, going through this second tricky corner, almost like when Matty lost it there. They're two of probably the trickiest corners I find, because if you get them slightly wrong, very easy to bin it. But onto the back straight, and now we're going to get the slipstream down this straight from P7. But unfortunately, it looks like P7's actually lost the slipstream to Matty. You can see it just up ahead. So as I come through here, I was expecting that I get the slipstream. I've got a massive amount of boost, and I thought, you know what, we're going to end up getting into Matty's slipstream. But looking at this now, I was like, oh no, we're not going to get it. Looking at the gap, he's got the slipstream to the cars ahead, and I haven't got it. So this is actually going to favour the cars that were at the back of the group of cars. So you can see the Porsche now that was behind me, double slipstream. He's going past it. You really want to have two cars in front of you. And then you can see the Ferrari that was right at the back, driven by Sparks, has managed to get past us also. So yeah, that was a bit frustrating. Back down to P9, even though we were going for P7. Yeah, it's just one of them things. It's the way it is. But what you can see up ahead is that little bit of overdrive the Porsche's got has almost got himself into the slipstream of P6. So as we go into the final lap at Nordschleife, we can see that we've got almost, I think you've got P4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 all in a slipstream line. Look at this. As I go for a move on the inside, I saw an opportunity, brake quite late, make sure we don't hit the Porsche, and this is brilliant drive, and I have to point this out. Just look at this. Sparks gives us a perfect amount of room. I give him the perfect amount of room on the inside. Great battling through there, no contact, and that is what racing was all about. That was brilliant. Sparks gave me the perfect amount of space without hitting us. We do not hit him, and some brilliant driving there as we work our way through now to the next braking zone into the tight right hand corner. You can see we're up to P8, and we can see this line now. You can see the group of cars, and you can also see P3 not too far ahead also. But this battle now for P4, it's incredible. Just look how close we all are on this final lap as we're fast forwarding the action as we come through to the final, this really fast flowing chicane before we go back onto the Nordschleife track. And we see Matty makes a little error there, but what I see is an opportunity. Matty makes error, so I go up on the inside. I see the gap that gets developed, and we managed to take that position. So a very optimistic move, and it worked out perfectly to put myself back up to P7 and now back behind Matty as we work our way on the downhill section now. And again, all single file, as we can't really do much on this section. But yeah, that was a really good move. I enjoyed that little section. Good move on Sparks, and then a really good move on the other Porsche in this race as we work on the downhill section now. Again, just following in the slipstream. We're not going to be able to overtake. It's just everyone just saving fuel pretty much while in the slipstream. So into this right hand corner again, it all seems to get very close after that straight because the leader car doesn't have the slipstream, and then you all bunch up on the downhill section again because of the slipstream, and it just gets really close all the way down the hill. So powering on down, and we're looking to see if we can go for a move, but there's not really much we can do. So what you can see is I'm playing with the fuel mixture, just trying to make sure that we've got good fuel for the end of the race, and the fuel is actually looking pretty good, I have to say. At this stage our fuel was looking very nice indeed. We've got very good fuel, and it looks like we're lined up pretty well for the end of the race, to really attack on the final stretch and possibly get ourselves up to P4. You can see Steve Gaming. Now, we knew Steve Gaming had problems with fuel, and he's leading this group of cars, so he's had no slipstream to help him along, and yeah, he was having trouble all day with fuel. So I was thinking to myself, if we can just get ourselves in a position on that final straight to go flat out and get a good slipstream, we've got an opportunity here to get some pretty good points. Our aim for this round was 300 points. In P7 now, we're sitting on about 200, I think it was about 280 points as we come through this corner. And Mario, massive moment in the GTR there. He's going to lose a lot of time there. He just lost the wheel on the curb. He just got the left-hand tyre onto that curb on the power. And again, Nordschleife does not take any prisoners. I told you this before. One mistake and it can catch you out so easily. But yeah, that's another car out of the battle now, and we're up to P6, which was 298 points, which at the start of the race is what I said my goal was to pretty much get. If I can get 298, I'd take it. That was a decent result for me at this combination where I'm not fully up to speed on yet. And as we come through here, I thought about going down the left there, but I had to back out there. I think that Matty also saw it, covered it. I was thinking of going down the left at that point, but it would have been seriously risky and I think very dangerous, and possibly would have ended up in myself in the barrier. So we still sitting ourselves in P6 behind Steve Gaming and behind Matty in front of us. But this is pretty much ideal because this means we're going to get that double slipstream, which could enable me on the final straight to really attack and go for that P4 in this race, which I think P4 was about 320 points. So if I could get that, I was going to be very, very, very happy, I have to say that. But you can see again, fuel is looking almost perfect. We've got over 14% of fuel left here, and we're way over halfway through the lap. And you know, it was, I think, if you divide it by 3, obviously 33% a lap, 14%, you know, it's we're well over half. We're pretty much 2/3 of the way through the lap nearly. We're 6 minutes into the lap, so you can see fuel is not going to be a problem. We've got enough. I think we needed 8% of fuel going just before the start, you know, just before the final corner onto the back straight, to be fine, to go flat out to the finishing line. And that was what I was kind of aiming at. But we got the Porsche behind us here. He keeps threatening some moves in places where it's just very awkward to get an overtake. It's just very dangerous. So it kind of dropped me back a bit then, but we had the fuel to push on here and get ourselves back up behind Matty. So flat out now, using the revs a little bit there and getting ourselves into the slipstream. You see Matty is putting Steve under a lot of pressure, but I don't think Matty really wanted to get himself up into P4. I think he just wanted to sit behind him here and then wait for the straight, which kind of makes sense. Unless Matty was also suffering with fuel, I do not know. All I know is that my fuel right now is looking very, very good. We got 11% of fuel as we come into this downhill section. We got the Porsche all over our rear, but again, there's no point. I didn't really want to go too attacking on Matty in front here because no real point. It's not really an overtaking position. But then as we come through here, take that normally. Matty runs a little bit wide there, and then we turn in here onto the curb. Everything seems okay, and then the car, it suddenly rotates. And I have to tell you now, I was absolutely gutted about this because it was such an annoying mistake. We were down into P13, race is over, points are gone, there's no other races today, and yeah, I decided to quit out that lobby. I was so frustrated with myself, and yeah, you can see from my expression here, I was devastated. This was done live on stream, and I think this is a learning experience of Nordschleife, because if you look at our fuel, we had about 10% of fuel going onto the final straight, which was more than you need. I could have revved it to the maximum in that Porsche, and it would have been flat out all the way to the finish line. So yeah, a big learning experience, but I have to say a big thank you to everyone who came in the live stream and watched that race, because yeah, mistakes are made. I was just disappointed to disappoint the people watching, because yeah, there was 500 odd people watching us, and it was going to be an incredible ending to that race, because it was going to be an absolute battle to the finishing line, because we had like 5 or 6 cars all battling it out for that P4, and I'm just really sorry to make that mistake there and kind of ruin it. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Lessons have been learned now. I will try and make sure I don't make that mistake on that corner again. But watching it back, I've watched it a few times now, it was almost as if I took it too slow. When I watch it back, I took the exact same line as the car behind me, but Matty took it faster on almost the same line. But I just maybe didn't get on the throttle early enough to stop that rear. Maybe I came off the throttle a bit too much. I'm not too sure. But yeah, unfortunately, we binned it. My mistake, 100% on me. But again, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section how your race went, what your thoughts were on that race. And yeah, give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back with more videos. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Bye.